They had that audience just like that in the palm of their hands, and they kept them there consistently throughout the performance. And that's a mark of a really top flight band.
Well, we all have totally diverse backgrounds musically, and we all come from totally different places in the world as well. So we each bring we each have a really unique flavor, I guess, in our playing.
I'm from Edinburgh in Scotland, and I started harp when I was about 13 years old.
Ailey is amazing. Doesn't play harp like many other harp players. She has a really funky style.
Ailey's harp style is totally one of a kind. She's always trying to turn it into a stronger instrument with more rhythm, and she's always wanted to use it in a band and to kind of show how it can be used in different ways.
And I still do quite a lot of solo work now as well, but it's much more fun to be playing with people. You know, it's just, you get that dynamic on stage, so it's much more enjoyable to be with people.
The combination of guitar and harp as backing instruments is really kind of characteristic in the way Killian and Ailey's instruments, the way they kind of work together, is really unique.
And I just love playing with Ailey. Myself and Ailey we'd be kind of the accompanying section of the band. And she's an amazing insight into chords. And just the way she plays the harp, it's just such a magical sound to it, you know, not like how you'd usually hear a harp being played, but really just something else, you know, it's like mystical, kind of an overtone to the whole thing, you know.
Killian's got a fantastically driving guitar style. He's really fun to play with. Me and him are kind of responsible for most of the accompaniment in the band, so he's really fun to play with it. So everything's just got a lot of energy in it.
Actually born in Germany, mother's German, father's Irish. I was 8 when we moved to Ireland, so kind of then was more or less when I started playing music. I started out on the flute, and then when it came to school days, all my mates in school were all playing the guitar and jamming and stuff, so I decided it was a good time to start playing the guitar.
He's been performing since he was a kid with his traditional Irish band in Germany. They were really big in Germany when he was growing up, so his music is, it's traditional, but it's also very accessible. That's kind of the way he looks at the music.
And Killian is a really great guitar player, really driving player, and also an awesome dancer.
Just lately, we've been incorporating Killian's Irish style of dancing with my Cape Breton style, and it's been a blast. It's so great to learn new steps.
When Maddie joined the band, more or less the same time I did actually, she was the first member of the band to kind of do dancing. She's Cape Breton style dancing, and she's been doing that more or less the whole way throughout. And just recently we've started incorporating that I do some Irish dancing as well. I kind of have done all my life.
I think the combination of the Irish and the Cape Breton is going to be really great for the show and for the band.
It's fun to kind of mix things around, you know, take some steps from Cape Breton and have an Irish guy dancing them, and at the same time have a girl from Cape Breton dancing some Irish steps. You know, it's two very different things.
I'm from a small town on the west coast of Cape Breton Island called Mabu. I started basically playing, I guess, when I was 7. I started with classical music, classical piano, and that obviously went nowhere. And then I took step dancing, which is a form of dancing that they have back in Cape Breton. I took fiddle at the age of 12.
When I first met her, I remember asking her, like, how did you learn how to play and how did you learn how to dance? And she couldn't even answer the question. She was like, well, everybody plays and everybody dances, and I mean, she plays piano too. So she comes from a really, really traditional background, and so it's very organic and very much traditional Cape Breton style of dance and of fiddle playing, so it's very characteristic.
I'm quite a rhythmic player on the guitar, and then when she's playing on the fiddle, oftentimes she'll be doing this choppy stuff, and I just find it really gives me the groove as well that I need to kind of go along with that, you know, and it just gives it a right push, a right drive.
I'm from the Highlands of Scotland, and I started playing through the Fashion movement, and I started off as a Highland dancer, all that stuff. And one Face I was doing Highland dancing, and I happened to see a piano accordion and thought it was cool. Not sure why, but thought it was great, and so I decided I was going to play the piano accordion, and I persuaded my poor parents to buy me one and get me lessons, and never looked back.
Fiona on accordion, her style is really bouncy, her playing, it's really sort of lively. And she's got this really unusual style of using her left hand for playing.
Whatever she's doing on the right hand, but when she gets the basses going on the left hand, it's just like, whoa, like a big foghorn. It just gives it such power, you know?
She plays chords in a way that I've never heard anybody else play chords before. So that's really nice. So I think musically we all bring different elements, but we all have very similar ideas about music and how it should sound and what we want it to sound like.
I'm really passionate about traditional Irish sean-nós singing, but there's no chance I would ever really I'm from Vancouver, so it doesn't really make sense for me to try and be a sean-nós Irish singer. And I used to sing in gospel choirs, and I've always listened to all sorts of kinds of music, and so I kind of take my passion for singing as just a singer.
Just such power in the voice, you know, and it's really refreshing to hear, for me anyway, and to hear like the likes of Irish and Scottish and Canadian folk songs not sung in an Irish accent. You know what I mean? The Canadian accent just kind of gives it a touch of something. I haven't really put my finger on it yet.
We all like performing, and we all love arranging, and that's kind of what brings us together, even though the traditions we come from or the traditions that we play when we're back at home are very, very different. How do I choose songs for the outside track? It's really a challenge. I have so many songs that I like, but for the band, it's kind of got to be the perfect combination of a good story. I like a good story in a song, but often songs with really good stories, the traditional ones, are long, really, really long. So I spend a lot of time shortening them sometimes, kind of keeping all the drama in there without all of the 16 to 32 verses or whatever. But we are also trying to bring folk songs, more modern folk songs in, because I find them easier to relate to emotionally, and I'm a really emotional singer. So we have to kind of work that in, work folk songs into the traditional repertoire, because they obviously have to work with the tunes, with the instrumentals.
Visually they're stunning, orally they're stunning, and everybody just loves them. I mean, the standing ovation they got tonight, I think, was, you know, pretty obvious. There's nothing quite as sincere as people leaping to their feet